Two neighbors, same street, same city, same jobs. They both started working at 25, earned nearly identical salaries their entire careers, raised kids, paid mortgages, and lived what looked like the exact same life. At 65, the first neighbor retired completely. He had $1.4 million saved, a paid-off house, and zero financial stress. He travels twice a year. He helps his grandkids with college. He sleeps well at night. The second neighbor? He still works. Not because he wants to, because he has to. He has $190,000 in savings, a mortgage with 11 years left, and a part-time job at a grocery store to cover the gap Social Security doesn't fill. He lies awake at night, calculating whether he can afford his car insurance and his blood pressure medication at the same time. Same income, same neighborhood, same starting point. Completely different endings. So what was the difference? It wasn't their 20s. They were both too broke to make a real difference then. It wasn't their 30s. They were both building families and careers with similar approaches. And it definitely wasn't their 50s. By then, the gap was already locked in. The entire difference between those two lives was created in a single decade, their 40s. I'm Jack, and I've spent way too much time studying why people with identical incomes end up with completely different retirements. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what happens in your 40s that determines everything, the specific decisions that separate comfortable retirement from financial stress, and what you can do right now, no matter what age you are. If this video helps you see money differently, hit subscribe. Your future self will thank you. Most people treat their 40s like an extension of their 30s. More money coming in, same habits going out. But your 40s are mathematically different from every other decade of your life. And most people never realize this until it's too late. Here's why this decade is unlike any other. 3 financial forces align in your 40s that never line up again at the same time. Force number 1, peak earning power. For most people, income hits its maximum somewhere between 42 and 55. The raises slow down, but the absolute dollars are the highest they've ever been. This means your 40s are the years when you have the most raw material available to build wealth. Force number 2, compounding time. At 40, you still have 20 to 25 years until retirement. That's enough time for money to roughly quadruple at historical market returns. $1 invested at 40 becomes approximately $4 by 65. Wait until 50, and that same dollar becomes $2.50. Wait until 55, and it becomes $2. Every year you delay, the multiplier drops. Force number 3, expenses start stabilizing. By your 40s, many of the big cost explosions from your 30s start calming down. The house fits your budget better. The career wardrobe is established. Kids become slightly cheaper. This creates potential margin that didn't exist before. 3 forces perfectly aligned. More income than ever. Enough time left for compounding to matter. And finally, some breathing room in your budget. The person who captures this alignment builds real wealth. The person who misses it faces math that simply cannot be fixed later, no matter how hard they try. Let me show you the numbers so you can see exactly how powerful this is. Imagine 3 people. All of them turn 40 with $100,000 saved. All of them earn $110,000 a year. All 3 retire at 65. Person A saves 15% of income from age 40 all the way through retirement. They end up with approximately $1.35 million. Comfortable retirement, no stress. Person B only saves 5% in their 40s, then panics at 50 and jumps to 15%. They end up with approximately $780,000. That's $570,000 less, just from 10 years of reduced contributions in their 40s. Person C barely saves anything in their 40s, then works desperately hard from 50 onward, saving 20% of income. Despite being more aggressive than everyone else in their 50s, they still only end up with $590,000. The decade of decisions created a gap that no amount of catching up could close. This is why your 40s are not like any other decade. The math works differently here. And most people spend this entire decade not realizing that. So what are the actual decisions that separate the comfortable retirement from the stressed one? It comes down to 5 specific choices most people face in their 40s, and almost nobody understands the true cost of each one. Decision 1: housing. Your 40s bring a powerful urge to upgrade your home. The kids are getting bigger. You've worked hard and want something that reflects your success. The bigger mortgage feels manageable on your higher salary. This single decision might be the most expensive financial choice you ever make in your life. Here's the math most people never see. Upgrading from a $350,000 home to a $600,000 home increases your monthly cost by roughly $1,500 to $2,000. That's $18,000 to $24,000 annually that can no longer be invested. Over 25 years, that annual difference compounds to somewhere between $900,000 and $1.3 million in retirement wealth. You think you're spending $1,800 more per month on housing. You're actually spending over $1 million in retirement money. Decision 2: vehicles. Your 40s often bring more expensive car purchases. The practical sedan becomes a luxury SUV. You've earned it, right? 2 $45,000 vehicles instead of 2 $28,000 vehicles doesn't just mean more car debt. It means higher insurance, more expensive repairs, and a difference that compounds to $200,000 to $400,000 in retirement wealth over time. Research consistently shows that actual millionaires drive Toyotas, Hondas, and Fords, not because they can't afford better, because they understand that transportation is a utility, not a status symbol. Decision 3: children's education. Your 40s are when the expensive child-rearing years hit hardest. Private sports training, SAT tutoring, and then college. Some families take on $100,000 or more in parent loans. Others cash out retirement accounts to pay tuition. Others simply stop contributing to retirement entirely during the college years. Here is the brutal irony of this decision. Your children graduate into their peak earning years with their whole careers ahead of them. You enter your 50s with depleted savings and barely a decade left to recover. The families who navigate this successfully make uncomfortable choices. State universities, scholarships, children contributing through work or loans. And they never stop contributing to retirement even when the college bills create pressure to do exactly that. Decision 4: career risk. Your 40s present opportunities for career moves that could dramatically increase your income. New companies, senior roles, industries where your skills command real premiums. Most people become increasingly risk-averse in their 40s. They have seniority and comfort at their current job. Starting over feels threatening. But your 40s are actually your last real window for income acceleration. By 50, hiring discrimination quietly starts affecting opportunities. The income difference between staying comfortable and pursuing growth can exceed $30,000 to $40,000 annually. Over 10 years, that's $300,000 to $400,000 in additional earnings available to be invested. Decision 5: lifestyle inflation. This is the quietest and most dangerous decision of all. In your 40s, social pressure to display success reaches its peak. Colleagues take elaborate vacations. Neighbors renovate kitchens. Friends buy boats and second homes. Some families resist this and keep the lifestyle that felt comfortable in their late 30s. Others expand to match their peer group, absorbing every dollar of increased income into visible consumption. Research shows that lifestyle inflation provides only a temporary happiness boost. Within 18 to 24 months, people fully adapt to their new normal. The bigger house becomes just the house. The nicer car becomes just the car. The difference in retirement outcomes between resisting and accepting lifestyle inflation in your 40s typically exceeds $1 million. Let me bring this to life with two real people. Let's call them Marcus and Daniel. At 40, Marcus and Daniel looked almost identical on paper. Both earned around $160,000 combined with their partners. Both had about $180,000 saved for retirement. Both owned modest homes. Both had 2 kids in middle school. Then their 40s happened. Marcus felt he had finally arrived. He upgraded the family home. A nicer neighborhood, bigger yard, better school district. Monthly costs went up by $1,700. To make that work, he dropped retirement contributions from 14 to 5%. It was temporary, he told himself. A year later, his car needed replacing. He bought an SUV with a $680 monthly payment. His partner upgraded her car the following year. When the kids hit high school, there were tutors, sports training, and eventually 2 out-of-state universities funded largely by parent loans. None of these decisions felt irresponsible. Each one seemed completely reasonable at the time. Marcus never felt like he was doing anything wrong. By 50, his retirement accounts held $260,000, only $80,000 more than a decade earlier, despite years of contributions and market growth. The kids were finally independent. Marcus and his partner committed to catching up. They maxed contributions for 15 years. By 65, they had $700,000. They ran retirement projections. At their spending level, they would likely run out of money by 83. Marcus is currently working part-time at 68. Now let's look at Daniel. Daniel and his partner were tempted by the same upgrades. The bigger house felt earned. The nicer cars felt justified. But Daniel had read about the mathematics of 40's decisions. He understood what was actually at stake. They stayed in their current home. The $1,700 monthly difference flowed directly to retirement accounts instead. When the car needed replacing, they bought a certified pre-owned vehicle with cash. When the kids were applying to colleges, Daniel had honest conversations about costs. Both kids attended state universities with merit scholarships and part-time jobs. Throughout their 40s, Daniel and his partner felt like they were swimming against the current. Their lifestyle looked modest compared to their peers. Colleagues drove nicer cars. Neighbors renovated kitchens. Friends took more expensive vacations. By 50, their retirement accounts held $600,000, more than triple what they had at 40. By 65, they had accumulated $1.7 million. House paid off. Retired fully at 63. Zero financial stress. Here's the part that gets me every time I think about this. During their 40s, research shows that both Marcus and Daniel reported similar levels of life satisfaction. The lifestyle inflation Marcus experienced provided only temporary happiness. Within 2 years, he had fully adapted to the new normal. Marcus didn't enjoy his 40s more than Daniel did. He just spent more. And the additional spending provided no lasting satisfaction while permanently changing the entire shape of his retirement. Let me give you specific guidance based on exactly where you are right now. If you're in your 20s or early 30s reading this, you have the greatest gift possible: foreknowledge. You now know that your 40s will present constant pressure to expand your lifestyle during your highest earning years. Build the habits now that will protect you then. Establish automatic retirement contributions you never reduce. Define what enough looks like before your income makes excess possible. The person who decides what they need at 32 protects themselves at 42. If you're entering your 40s right now, you are standing at the most important financial inflection point of your entire life. What you do in the next 10 years determines more about your retirement than any other decade. Audit every major expense right now. Is your housing appropriately sized? Are your vehicles transportation or status symbols? Are you funding retirement before funding lifestyle? Every yes to lifestyle expansion right now is a no to retirement security. If you're in your late 40s and you recognize yourself in Marcus's story, you still have time to change trajectory. Not enough time to fully close the gap, but enough time to make it significantly better. Consider options your lifestyle-inflated peers won't consider. Downsizing housing now instead of waiting. Selling expensive vehicles. Pursuing income growth even if it requires starting over somewhere new. Every percentage point you add to your savings rate in the next few years will compound into meaningful improvement. If you're already past your 40s with inadequate savings, focus on what remains within your control. Delay Social Security as long as possible to maximize your benefits. Consider working a few extra years. Downsize housing to release equity. These moves can meaningfully improve an outcome that feels fixed but isn't. I want to address something that underlies all of these decisions. The psychological difficulty of 40s financial discipline comes from a feeling that you've finally earned the right to enjoy your success. After 20 years of working hard, the impulse to live well feels completely justified. And honestly, it makes total sense. But here's the trap. The gratification from lifestyle expansion provides temporary pleasure followed by permanent constraint. The upgraded house feels exciting for about 18 months, then feels completely normal while permanently reducing your retirement savings. The luxury car gives you a thrill for a year, then becomes just a car while permanently limiting your options. The discomfort of financial discipline in your 40s lasts 10 years. The reward lasts 30 years or more. The pleasure of indulgence in your 40s lasts 2 to 3 years. The consequence lasts 30 years or more. Picture yourself at 70. You're sitting somewhere quiet on a Tuesday morning. No alarm, no schedule. In one version of that morning, you're thinking about which grandchild you'll visit this month. You're planning a trip you've always wanted to take. An unexpected expense doesn't threaten your stability because you have the cushion to absorb it. In the other version, you're calculating whether this month's Social Security check covers your medications and your property taxes. You're worried about what happens if your car breaks down. You're anxious about a future with very few options left. Both versions of you made their 40s decisions decades earlier. Both are living with those consequences every single day. Which version you become is not determined by luck. It's not determined by income. It's determined by what you do between 40 and 50. Your 40s will pass regardless. The only question is which version of your 70-year-old self you're building right now. If this video helped you see your 40s differently, subscribe to Lazy Jack Invests. I break down the real mechanics of money in simple animations every week. Your future self is counting on you. Don't let them down.